Hello and welcome to my demo of the framework for Maptool for playing Mayfair's classic DC Heroes RPG. I'm using the Blood of Heroes, which is kind of like a 3.5 edition, I guess, of the rule set. The framework is it should be suitable for the second and third editions of the game too. I don't think there's a lot of significant differences, but I wanted to just give just a quick overview of some of the capabilities of this tool to help facilitate the gameplay. And so Maptool is freeware. It's a virtual tabletop, and in that respect, it works much like other virtual tabletops out there, such as Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. There's quite a few other ones, and again, Maptool is free. There's a big community base of folks that use it, that help support it, that help people out if they get stuck in a problem. They've helped me innumerable times with different questions or obstacles I've run into, and I've been using Maptool for about 10 years to play games. It's wonderful software, and so this is my way of contributing a little bit back to the community. So I just wanted to show some of the stuff that you can do with this. Now Maptool's got a lot of windows built into it, and normally some of these windows go onto a second screen, and for purposes of this video I can't really do that. So this is going to look a little more crowded than how I normally use Maptool. And so these windows are all standard chat and the Explorer windows here on the left hand side. I want to show off the campaign window, and you can have windows appear or disappear as you need to. The campaign window is where the macros are stored that are all relevant to this framework for the DC game. And so I've got just a little quick scenario here. I've got the Monarch of Madness with some of his henchmen. They've got Batman surrounded. Okay, so let's just hop right in and go to initiative. So there's an initiative button, and it's actually right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there's an initiative window in Maptool, and let's make that appear. Normally I have this over on a second screen, so I had to drag it over today. And you can see that given the initiative values that are stored on each token, Maptool is able to roll a die and then very quickly sequence these in order. So this is going to this reflects the alternate version of initiative, where you simply roll and go in order, which I kind of like. I think it's simpler. And I really should show you the little pop-up windows that appear when you hover your mouse over each token. So let me do that very quickly before we go into the a little combat demo. So sorry, let's show Batman because he's pretty cool. Okay, so this little pop-up window is a way to get a quick summary, a very condensed view of the stats for a character in the game. And if you're familiar with the game rules, when you see these stats, you're probably going to recognize them right off. So the top three rows here, PMS, physical, mental, spiritual, and then we have the stats in their values listed. Okay, so dex, strength, body, etc., etc. And you can see that it's also tracking the current condition for those health stats. So body is 6 of 6, mind is 12 of 12. He's got hero points at 89, and that's just an arbitrary number. I've been playing around a lot with this. I think in the second edition box set, he starts with 150 or something. So just make a quick mental note. He's got 89 right now for this one. Okay. All right. So let's say that Batman obviously is going first, because that's what the initiative window had. I'll just bring that back over so you can see. by a mile. He's going first. Okay. Now let me show you one other neat thing. I just thought of if a character wanted to hold back and wait and see what someone else is doing, there's an easy way to keep track of that in Maptool. Just toggle that character, and then you just go down to the next one. That's not something I built. That's just baked into Maptool. Okay. But it's so cool. I mean, this kind of functionality, it's just it's wonderful. Okay, so Batman's going to attack these guys, right? So let's just do a simple punch. There's two ways that we can do that in this framework. If you want to select just standard attack or acting values, effect values, so in a case of a physical attack like that, the standard option is a great way to go. You can also go through a more comprehensive menu that would go through all the attributes, but we're just gonna let's just use the standard stuff here. So you know, we've got all these different choices. This is going to be a punch, so just simple dex, and then yeah, we're going to use something different for the effect. Use the strength. Then we get this pop up, and these are all these are all coming from the rules about various combat maneuvers that a character can perform. This doesn't have everything. It's got most of the stuff. There's a few things like charging or ramming. I don't have in here yet. I may add those later. And actually, he's going to do multiple targets. Let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to make it a little harder for him, but he's got hero points, right? Let's hold off on the martial arts. Actually, I take that back. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's so he's going to be able to add a column shift to his effect value. Okay. All right. Now then, so we got to select an opponent for him. So I'll just pick one of these guys and hit F2. Dodge doesn't apply, of course. This is melee, not a ranged attack. So when this window pops up, we see the character name in the title, and this is a system-generated ID. It really should say the token name here, just so it's not confusing. But so that's something that needs to be fine-tuned. And we're being asked, should we add the skin armor, right? They've got 1 AP of skin armor. Yeah, that probably should be added if you're being punched. Flame immunity, no, that's not relevant. Sealed systems, no. Okay, now we get to hero points. So the buttons are split up into 4 different groups. That's the acting character would do something from here. A defending character can do something from here. Probably should. Hero points. Let's do a hero point bid. So when this window pops up, this tells us how many hero points you've got available, how many points you've already spent. His acting value is a 10, so we can go up to 10 according to the rules. So that's what shows up in the drop down. Let's do 4. Effect value, let's do 4. Alright, and chat's telling us where we stand there as far as the hit points, but these guys aren't going to sit back and let Batman do that, right? So they're gonna throw in some points. Oh, he's only got 1. Yeah, let's add it to the opposing. Batman's going to come back in here and bid again, and this is I'm getting this error again. So bizarre, because I tested this offline and it worked fine. I don't get it. Yeah, okay. At any rate, it doesn't matter. Okay. It's just something to investigate, to fine-tune. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the punch. That's going to be this in D here, section D of the window, the action roll. I've got a hotkey assigned to this. You can see an F9. So you can hit F9, you can click the button. Doesn't matter. Oh, nice roll. So in the output here, it's telling us what we needed to roll according to the action table and what we ended up rolling. it's telling us the net result of all the boosting from the hero points. So we can see Batman spent, what, 8? So he was 89, right? Now he's down to 81. I think this guy had 1 point. He's got nothing. 5 column shifts, and he got 9 wraps. So, that guy doesn't have enough points to absorb it. No, I don't think any of these do. So that would KO all these guys. That was a multi-attack. But let's just pretend that just let me do this quick edit. This isn't something you'd normally need to do in the framework. Let's pretend like he's got 6 hero points. Okay. So he's going to take this damage. I've got a handy damage button right there. His current body is 5. He's got 6 points he can spend. He can spend 5 on last ditch defense. How many do you want to spend? Well, if he wants to stay in the fight, he'll spend 5. And it tells us you spent 5, you took 4 damage. And if we hover the mouse over and look at his physical row, you can see he's got 1 point of body left out of 5. So, the damage button's a pretty neat way of keeping track of how many points you can spend, how much damage you're going to take on net. And let's just pretend that these guys are going to counterattack, for example. So let me show you a different button. This is a nice little shortcut. And there's a few shortcuts in here for different combat maneuvers. I just have a punch button built in. And so he's going to select Batman for the punch. This is actually going to be a team attack, right? Let's see, there's 3 of these. And what about hero points? Batman's got plenty. And actually, the physical attributes for him have already been assigned, but if I hit F2, it may prompt me for some of his skills. Dodging, of course, only applies to range. We don't care about that. He's already taken his action anyway. Well, now he already used Martial Artist. He's not going to be able to use it now when he's the opposing token. Okay, so what about hero points? This guy didn't use any previously, so let's do 1 and 1. What about Batman? He's got 81, right? But 0 available because he used hero points when he was acting. It's not available in the same phase when he's a defending token. And let's do a roll. Not even close. The armor's slowing him down. So that's just a quick demo of how the combat would work. And of course, it's pretty easy to set these tokens up. If for example, I need to modify an existing token, you should be able to do that. Let's see, where's the setup? Yeah, pretty straightforward. Now with Superman, of course, one of his primary antagonists is the Parasite. So one thing you can do with this is have temporary changes put in. So let's pretend like the Parasite was able to drain some of his dexterity. He got 5 points. Okay, his dex is 15. So there's some buttons here to modify either attributes or specialties. So let's say 5 points went away from Superman. And now we look, his dex is down to 10. What about, we want to look at his powers. Let's list his specifications. Quite a laundry list there. So let's pretend that in addition to some dex, Superman lost some of his flight. Okay, he has 10 ranks. So let's add a temporary specialty, and I'm going to choose flight. And what did I say, 3? So let's say he lost 3 ranks. It was 10, if you remember. Let's list his powers now. 7. Yep. So it's pretty cool to be able to modify tokens in the course of play without actually changing their permanent values. So it gives the game some flexibility in that respect. Like the Hulk is another one. He's someone on write-ups defined him with power reserve. And if I list his specifications, we can see that here. And I think they said 3 APs a turn. So let's add 3 to his strength. He's at a 19. Let's see. I may have already temporarily boosted his strength. Yeah, I did. So we said 19. Let's add 3 more. Oh, he's sitting at 22 now. Pretty cool. So that's almost, it's getting into the Superman's neighborhood there. So one other thing I would like to show is some of the stuff that's some of the common stuff that comes up in games over and over. And for example, falling. There's a button for falling. Let's say one of these guys gets pushed off a building. He was here, and he's falling off a 60-foot building. Okay. Well, how do we do that? I can put this in APs or feet. I have trouble remembering benchmarks, so I'm going to say, what was it, 50 feet? Is that what I said? Skin armor, yeah, I think that would help. Flame immunity, sadly, no. Okay. He can spend hero points here if he wants. Don't need to. So what's happened here is we've got his physical attributes as defined because he's the opposing token, and there's a generic acting values at play here against him. So let's do a roll. And he hit the ground. It says success. In his case, I doubt he would define as a success. He took 3 damage to body. And I can just go ahead and take that away. Only 1 hero point left. I probably should just save it. So this guy's out. So, I hope you enjoyed the quick little demo. I'll do another one shortly and show some additional features that are built into this framework, as well as various improvements I'm in the process of adding. Thanks again.